Hello, you're watching TVP World Talks. I'm Wiesław Dawidowski. A new archbishop is taking the reins in one of Poland's biggest cities, Krakow. A change that may have both a spiritual and perhaps also a political impact. Following his conservative predecessor's retirement, Archbishop Grzegorz Ryś, appointed by Pope Leo XIV, has vowed to engage with the local ecclesiastical structures and to tackle issues such as investigating cases of sexual abuse. But what other challenges and opportunities await the newly appointed Catholic official? Joining us here is Wiesław Dawidowski, Doctor of Theology and journalist. Hello and welcome to TVP.
Morning, and I'm a priest, by the way.
Yes. So let's begin by mentioning how it works when it comes to the ecclesiastical structure in Poland. Why does Kraków actually matter that much for someone who doesn't live in Poland and is not aware of how that works?
Well, Krakow is one of the oldest archdioceses in Poland with unbroken tradition, a very impactful position of the archbishops in Krakow was also political, of a political stature. Therefore, I think everybody's eyes are now turning to Krakow and to see what will be the result with this absolutely surprising appointment of Cardinal Ryś.
Why was it surprising?
Surprising because it very rarely happens that a cardinal is being moved from one see to another. Cardinal Ryś was Archbishop of Łódź, and he really did not expect to be transferred to Krakow. Therefore, this is a very impactful and challenging moment, I think, not only for the church in Krakow, but also for the Church of Poland, because a cardinal, a man who belongs to a younger generation of bishops, although he is 62, an experienced man, a historian, therefore a man who knows the job, and is being made, as we know it now, nominated directly by Pope Leo. Therefore, it is a big surprise, and but at the same time, a great hope.
So you mentioned the direct nomination. How does it differ from the normal pathway of succession?
Well, normally the nuncios and people who are responsible for preparing a runway for a new bishop are presenting several names to the Holy Father. Well, of course, first to the dicastery of the bishops and then to the Holy Father directly. But the Holy Father is absolutely free to nominate whomever he wants. In this case, since he has known Archbishop Ryś, Cardinal Ryś, from common work in the same dicastery for the bishops, Cardinal Ryś joked himself once that he is, for the first time, he has a direct cell phone number to the Holy Father. Therefore, I think this is a matter that made some impact on the nomination.
So now, you said that this might be a significant change overall. Some media reports say this is so because Cardinal Ryś is often described as being a member of a more liberal faction. Would you say that this is true? And can you briefly describe, the inner workings of Polish Catholic Church politics for, once again, viewers who might not be familiar with it?
Cardinal Ryś positions himself rather as a person of evangelical thinking than a political animal. And we tend to view nominations of bishops, cardinals, in terms of politics, and certainly it has some impact on the politics, but his first vocation is to serve the church in the spirit of the gospel. Now, the spirit of the gospel can be sometimes twisted, okay? And he himself says that his first role is to preach the gospel and to form the Church of Krakow in the spirit of Jesus Christ. And of course, someone would say it's a beautiful rhetoric figure, but at the same time, it's a very challenging figure because how can we implement the evangelical teaching in the very fragile and very dangerous moments of the history in which we are right now? So I think that this will be a big challenge, and he will tackle it very well.
And speaking of tackling issues, some people say the positive sign is that this is a cardinal who chose to tackle the issue of sexual abuse allegations in the Catholic Church head on. So he did not say, this doesn't really matter that much, we're going to do it in due course later on. He decided to actually create a committee for investigating that. He's saying he's going to do the same in Krakow as well. So would you say this is a positive signal for the skeptics, perhaps for people who were dissuaded from being members of the Church because they perceived that these allegations in the press, they were not addressed with a sufficient degree of thoroughness, perhaps?
Of course, the issue of alleged sexual abuses is a hot topic and widely discussed in the media and on other channels. But this is not his only concern. However, I think he is well prepared to deal with this issue, as he is a historian. He knows the historical method. He knows how to approach the archives. So he is a person well prepared for this job. And he himself said that he's not going to step back, rather to confront the past of the Church with today's demands. So I think, there will be lots of information about it. There are some cases in the Archdiocese of Krakow, just like in other dioceses, that have been not solved yet in this regard. So he's fit to the job.
And now, there are also issues concerning the position of the Catholic Church in today's society. As we know, it's a changing society, right? Mm-hmm. His predecessor was considered not to be open for a dialogue with certain communities, like the LGBT community. His predecessor dismissed. He didn't consider that a community that was worth engaging in dialogue with. Now, again, Cardinal Ryś is a very different person in this regard. Do you think that this also reflects the evolution of ecclesiastical thought concerning minorities, concerning their place in the community of the faithful?
Me, myself, I worked with Cardinal Ryś up till now in the Commission for the Dialogue of Christians and Jews on the Polish Episcopate, on behalf of the Polish Episcopate. And I know he's very sensitive to the issues of dialogue and meeting people of other religions. Therefore, he's a person of high ecumenical profile and standard. And this, of course, opens up opportunities for meeting, as you have mentioned, different minorities. Just recently, he took part in a Congress of Young Catholic Men and Women, which is absolutely not ecclesial organization, but a very social organization, which gathers around young men and women of various orientations, and also among them there are people of LGBT. But their concern is to provide a platform of dialogue and to find for them a place in the conservative Church of Poland. Now, I think Cardinal Ryś, sometimes people say he's progressive. I rather would say he will keep the middle course, and because as a historian, as he is, he knows very well that the middle course of the Church was always the safe course of the Church. I have to say one more thing. The Church as a whole is a huge boat. And it's running on waves. Okay, we have to be very careful not to twist that boat upside down. So, as he is taking the reign of the Church in Krakow, I think he will also be a very important figure that will make an impact on the profile of the Polish Episcopate.
And now, another issue that was mentioned, I believe, was that he has taken part in fundraising activities, for example, for people in Ukraine, providing them with aid. Do you think that this is one of those, perhaps, aspects which are sometimes overlooked by the media. The media doesn't, sometimes they focus on scandals, they focus like still on church politics, but not on the daily activities, such as, for example, charity, especially in times of need for our neighbors.
There is a famous saying, there is no good news as a bad news. But it's important, especially before Christmas time and in Christmas time, to turn this logic and to see this profile not only of humanitarian aspects, of charity aspects, but to show that the mission of the Church consists, as Pope Benedict said, of three factors. First is preaching the gospel, second is worship of God, and the third is the charity. Therefore, this tripod is very functional and is in the mindset of, should be in the mindset of every bishop, every priest, and I am sure it's in the mindset of Cardinal Ryś.
Do you think the Polish Church in general is evolving, and if not, and if so, in what direction? In terms of its theology, in terms of, again, this sort of everlasting conflict between tradition and progress?
These are tags that I personally do not like. Progressive, conservative.
They are oversimplifications to some extent.
There are labels, yes. They are labels and simplifications. However, I think the Church in Poland changes slowly. And sometimes too slowly, because we see rapid changes in politics, and after these rapid changes, the Church doesn't follow, just stands a little bit behind these changes. Now, the question is not to change. And the question is not how to get involved in political contexts. The question is always how to preach in a credible manner the gospel, which is the word of hope for a man and a woman of every generation. So I think if the Church in Poland is still searching a language in which she can communicate with the society of nowadays. I give you an example. Just yesterday I saw on the Fox News introduction of the new Archbishop of New York by Cardinal Timothy Dolan. Okay, I am very reserved to Cardinal Dolan and his way of presenting people and dealing with, but he is an American rhetorician. But the way he presented the new Archbishop of New York, it was fantastic. You could see that he communicated with those who watched him live, and this is what we are lacking in the Catholic Church in Poland.
So a new energy, perhaps. Father Wiesław Dawidowski was our guest today here on TVP World. Thank you very much for joining us. And
thank you very much, and happy Christmas.
Thank you. And I'm Jan You're watching TVP World. Please stay with us for more latest news, updates, and commentary.